Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived two best friends who were neighbours. Their names were Kay and Gerda. Kay and Gerda each planted a rose in their front yards to show their love for one another. The roses were going to grow together with them. At the end of fall, winter had come and the town was covered in snow. During the cold winter nights, Kay and Gerda's biggest fun was the fairy tale time with Gerda's grandmother. "Where does the snow and the cold come from?" asked Gerda.
"From far away,"
her grandmother answered and started to tell her story.
"There was a kingdom covered with ice and snow. The Snow Queen lived alone in the ice castle, made purely by her own magic. The Snow Queen was very beautiful and pure as ice."
But the Snow Queen was evil-hearted, and a lot of miracles were hidden in the magical and cold ice castle. The icy mirror was one of them. It was through the icy mirror that the Snow Queen's evil eyes watched everything that happened in the world. Right at that moment, Gerda saw the Snow Queen watching them behind the window. "Kay, grandmother, look, it is the Snow Queen watching us through the window."
I'm sure it is just a cat frozen from the cold.
"Grandmother, can the Snow Queen really come here?"
Let her try. I would throw her in the chimney so fast she would melt and turn into the Water Queen.
Watching through the ice mirror, the Snow Queen heard what Kay said.
"So you will throw me into the chimney and turn me into the Water Queen? Ha! Ice sparkles! Fly with my powers, find this boy. Make his eyes and heart mine. Let his sight be evil for everything around him, and let the love in his heart be gone forever,"
ordered the Snow Queen to her ice sparkles. Suddenly, a snowstorm started to blow in front of Gerda's house. The ice sparkles were moving fast towards Gerda. Curious about what was going on, Kay opened the window. Gerda screamed right away, "Kay, stop!" But it was too late.
Oh, my eye! Something stung my eye! Oh, my heart! What is going on?
And at that moment, the Snow Queen's curse was carried out by the ice sparkles. His eyes and heart were struck, and Kay had transformed into another person. Gerda asked him what had happened, but Kay yelled at her.
Nothing! I'm fine! Leave me alone!
This was weird. Kay was never rude to Gerda like this. She just couldn't understand why all of a sudden he started to behave this way. Kay's rude behavior continued to the next morning. When Kay was taking his sleigh out of the garden, Gerda asked him where he was going. He snapped at her again. He jumped on his sleigh and moved away. Gerda ran after him, but could not reach him. Suddenly, on her sleigh, the Snow Queen appeared from nowhere, and Kay started to follow her. Gerda was stunned and couldn't do anything as they both disappeared from sight. The Snow Queen was taking him to her ice castle. Gerda spent days in front of her window, waiting for Kay to come back. Days and months passed, and the winter was over. But still, there was no sign of Kay. Couldn't stand waiting anymore. Gerda made up her mind, taking only the mirror her grandmother gave her. She head out to start looking for her dearest friend, Kay. Brave Gerda passed many roads and asked everyone she met on her way if they had seen Kay. Finally, she reached the shore of a river. She looked around and there was no one to be seen that she could ask about Kay. She asked the river but could not get a reply. At that moment, a seagull came next to her.
The river will definitely have an answer for you, but first you have to give her a gift.
Gerda took out her dearly beloved necklace and placed it on the water of the river. Suddenly, a miracle happened, and from nowhere, a small boat appeared right in front of her. Gerda thought that the river liked her gift and was returning the favor. As soon as she hopped on, the boat started to move on its own. The boat brought Gerda to another shore. Here there was a secret garden full of flowers with all the colors of the rainbow. Gerda had not seen such a beautiful garden before in her life. But there was something missing. None of these flowers had a scent. On the other side of the garden, she saw a woman approaching her. She was the owner of the garden. "Welcome, my beautiful little girl." She greeted Gerda with a big smile. And suddenly, she realized that she could smell the flowers in her garden again. "I am sorry that I entered your garden without your permission," said Gerda. "It's okay, honey. Come on, my dear. I'm glad you came. It's been such a long time anybody's come to my garden. Tell me, what are you doing here all alone?" Gerda told the flower lady that she was looking for her friend Kay, asked whether she knew about him. But the lady said that Gerda was the only person she had seen. "Really? Well, then let me get back to the road. I have to find Kay as soon as possible." The flower lady didn't want her to go away, so she made up a lie. "Did you say Kay? Let me see. I might have seen him around somewhere." Gerda told her everything, and when the flower lady heard the Snow Queen's name mentioned, she got very worried.
Snow Queen? Let her be far away from here, cold thing. Because of her, my flowers haven't smelt for years.
Then all of a sudden, the lady wanted to comb Gerda's hair. Gerda could not understand why, but the flower lady insisted. Little did Gerda know that it actually was a magic comb. The magic comb made Gerda forget about everything she knew. Only her joy remained. But the flower lady was not evil. She just did it for fun. When she woke up from her sweet sleep, Gerda did not remember anything, not even why she was there or how she got there. But when she saw the roses on the lady's hat, she started to remember things. No magic could overcome the power of true love. Gerda didn't know how long she stayed in the Garden of Sleep, but her memories suddenly all came back. She immediately turned back to shore. The boat was still there, but she did not know which way to go or what to do. At that moment, a crow started to fly over her head. It was as if he was trying to tell her something. So Gerda started to follow him. She followed the crow for a while until they reached the icy seas. Right in the middle of the ice, there was a pirate ship from some time ago, where the crow flew and landed. Gerda followed him on her boat and made her way to the ship. "So, is this how I get to the Queen's castle? With this pirate ship?" Pirates appeared on the deck, and one of them, a pirate girl, approached Gerda.
You go wherever we go, and that is nowhere! Ha ha ha!
Right at that moment, the Snow Queen was trying to make Kay forget about everything in his past. She succeeded up to some point, but whatever she did, Gerda would not leave Kay's memory.
Gerda! Oh, Gerda! Soon your heart will turn into ice and you will not remember a thing.
Finding out about her friend Kay being held captive in Snow Queen's castle, The pirate girl told Gerda to better forget about him, because there was no way to get him out of there. "I won't forget. He's my best friend. I have to find him," replied Gerda. The pirate girl could not really understand Gerda's persistence. Actually, she wanted her to stay there and become her friend. But Gerda was determined to find Kay. "I'll do whatever it takes to rescue him." Because she had no friends, the pirate girl really admired Gerda's attitude and decided to help her. The next day, at sunrise, the pirate girl brought Gerda a reindeer. This was the fastest reindeer in the whole Snow Kingdom, and she was going to show Gerda the way.
Promise me that you will get that icy witch. You will also save our ship.
"I promise I'll return your favour," answered Gerda. Riding the reindeer, Gerda was on her way. First, she had to find out how she could defeat the Snow Queen. The reindeer was going to show her how. After a long journey, they had reached the North Pole. An old wise man welcomed them.
So, you finally brought the mirror, huh?
Gerda could not understand how the wise man knew about her mirror, but nevertheless, she knew she came to the right place. So she took out her mirror and showed it to the man. "So I'm going to finish the Snow Queen with this?"
This is a magic mirror. It shows the truth, nothing but the truth. Even if it is hidden deep inside.
Because nothing was stronger than true love, the real strength in all of us was love. Gerda found out who the Snow Queen was, thanks to the wise man. If she could reveal the truth, she could beat her. Because actually, in the past, the Snow Queen was a good girl, full of love. Wherever she touched, flowers blossomed and her smiling eyes shined brighter than the sun. She was a unique and happy girl named Lilla, but everyone thought she was a little witch and did not play with or even talk to her. Left all alone, Lilla wasn't a happy girl anymore. She started to hate everything and everyone around her. Until one day, she made a wish.
Everyone mean to me shall turn to ice.
And then she built a castle made out of snow and lived in it, far away from anyone, all alone and without love or joy. Gerda arrived at the Snow Queen's castle and entered inside. She saw Kay in one of the corners, making an ice sculpture.
You're here! I found you! Kay! It's me, Gerda! Don't you remember me?
Kay looked at Gerda, but he did not recognize her.
Ha! Ha! His heart, like everything else here, has turned into ice.
Gerda did not pay any attention to what the Snow Queen was saying.
Let him go. He belongs to me now. I will turn you into ice as well.
No, you won't make it! Kay, I love you! Kay slowly started to remember.
Gerda? Yes, I remember now.
Furious, the Snow Queen shook her wand as fast as light, and out came the curse of ice. Right at that moment, Gerda took out her mirror and held it against the curse. Hitting the mirror, the curse disappeared. And the moment had come. The Snow Queen looked at Gerda's mirror, only to see that it wasn't her reflection she saw on the mirror. It was the face of a little girl, the face of Lilla. Suddenly, the Snow Queen returned to her little and loving self and became Lilla again.
Thank you very much. Now I know who I really am. I'm free again.
Goodbye. Kay and Gerda looked at each other and smiled. From now on, they would never part and they would grow together. just like the roses they had planted in their front yards. Once upon a time, there lived a little girl named Dorothy. Dorothy lived in a farmhouse with her auntie and uncle, Em and Henry. On that day, Dorothy didn't even want to play with her dog. It was as if she felt something bad was going to happen.
A hurricane is coming our way. We must hide in the basement.
And so Auntie Em yelled out, "Come here this instant, Dorothy." "Toto, come here. We must go down to the basement." Dorothy had to go under the bed to get her dog. Right at that moment, the farmhouse began to shake severely. Then the farmhouse began to spin around in its spot. The little girl was trying to hold on to something, and at the same time she was trying to catch her dog. And she was about to fly out of the door. She managed to catch her dog. She wasn't able to see nothing, just the skies and clouds. Right at that moment, she knew she was way up into the sky. The house and her head were spinning so fast that she was so sleepy, she was numb to all that was happening around her. And so she fell asleep. Dorothy woke up with a big bang. The bed jumped up so high that it made the little girl fall out of the bed and onto the ground. She then realized that the farmhouse wasn't turning anymore. The sun was shining through the window, which made her realize she was on land. She ran outside. She couldn't believe the scenery. Her jaw dropped. There were fields of flowers as far as the eye could see. Then suddenly, Dorothy saw little men running towards her. The men had cone-shaped hats, and the little bells on top of their hats were ringing. Also, their uniforms were blue, and they all had very long beards. When the little men came next to Dorothy, there appeared a tiny lady with a white dress. "The mightiest magician, welcome! I'm the good-hearted witch of the north, and these are my friends, the dwarfs. I want to thank you for getting rid of the wicked witch of the east and saving us." Thank you, but you must have confused me with somebody else." The good-hearted witch from the north marked a spot for Dorothy on the farmhouse. On the ground were a pair of shiny silver-shoed legs. Dorothy realized that the farmhouse landed on the wicked witch. I didn't mean to do it. It really wasn't my fault. What will I do now?" "Only thing you can do is just accept the silver magic shoes of the wicked witch as a gift." Dorothy took her old shoes off and wore the new ones. "Will you help me return back home?" "There's only one person who can help you, and that is the Wizard of Oz. By following the yellow brick road, you will arrive at Emerald City, and once you arrive, you will have to get permission to go up and see the Wizard of Oz." Straight after talking to Dorothy, the good-hearted witch disappeared. The dwarfs sent Dorothy off and went on their way. After some time had passed away, the little girl and her dog needed to rest, so they stopped by a cornfield. In the middle of the field, Dorothy noticed a scarecrow. With great curiosity, she went next to him.
"Hi, who are you?"
At first, Dorothy was shocked, but then began explaining all that had happened.
"I don't know anything. My head is full of hay. I wonder if I come to Emerald City with you, do you think the Wizard of Oz would give me a brain?"
Dorothy took the scarecrow down from its frame, and together they began to walk on the yellow brick road. A few hours later, as they passed through the forest and amongst the trees, they saw something shining. Once they had arrived next to it, they realized it was a man made out of tin. The Tin Man was standing still.
Please help me. Because I have rusted, I have not been able to make a simple move for a very long time.
How can we help you?
Over there, you can find my shack. Please go over there and get my oil tin and rub it on my joints.
Dorothy did as the Tin Man told her to do. She poured oil on all his joints, and he began to move again.
Thank you so much. And what are you guys doing here?
Dorothy began to explain what had happened all over again.
Do you think you could give me a heart?
And so the Tin Man followed them. The forest began to get dark. And suddenly they heard a horrific roar, and out jumped out a lion in front of them. But when Toto began to bark, the lion took a step back in fear and began to shiver.
How can a big lion like you be afraid of such a small dog?
I know. I'm a coward. Even the slightest noise can scare me.
Wait, don't cry. Tell you what, we're looking for the Wizard of Oz. We all will ask for something from him. Maybe he can give you courage.
The lion wiped away his tears and joyfully agreed to go to Emerald City with them. They walked for a while. The Scarecrow showed them the sky shining green. The Emerald City wasn't so far now. Soon later, after a couple of hours of walking, they had reached the gates of the Emerald City.
We have come here to see the Wizard of Oz.
To enter the castle, they had to wear giant glasses because they could be blinded by the Emerald City's shiny green lights. The houses, streets, even the clothes of the people were all green in the Emerald City. Everywhere was shimmering. Finally, they had reached the castle. To see the Wizard of Oz, Dorothy was the first one to enter. The little girl entered hesitating, and she saw a big head hanging from the ceiling above the throne.
I am the mighty and scary Oz. And who are you? Why did you want to see me? And where did you find those silver shoes?
My name is Dorothy. I have come to ask for help.
Dorothy told everything that had happened to mighty Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz said that he would help her, but in return, she had to get rid of the Wicked Witch of the West. With great frustration, Dorothy returned to her friends crying, and she told them what the Wizard of Oz had asked of her. They all decided to find the Wicked Witch of the West and get rid of her. The next morning, they left the Emerald City and started their journey to the castle of the Wicked Witch of the West. The Wicked Witch of the West had only one eye, but she could see really far. When she saw that Dorothy and her friends were approaching her castle, she called out her giant bees.
Sting these intruders!
Dorothy and her friends saw the bees flying towards them. They did not have time to run away.
Scarecrow, cover Dorothy, Toto, and the lion with your hay so that the bees cannot sting them.
When the Scarecrow covered the others with his hay, the bees all tried to sting the Tin Man. But of course, all lost their stingers, and one by one they fell on the ground. This time, the witch sent her flying monkeys to hunt Dorothy and her friends. And so, the flying monkeys attacked Dorothy and her friends. One of them caught the Scarecrow and threw him on a tree. Another one threw the Tin Man over a cliff. They also tied up the lion to bring to the witch. Afterwards, all the flying monkeys turned to Dorothy. But once they saw the silver shoes on her feet, they did not want to hurt her. They just took her to the castle. When the Wicked Witch of the West saw the silver shoes on Dorothy's feet, She got really scared. But she also realized that Dorothy was not aware of the power of her shoes.
Give those shoes to me.
No, I won't.
I said give it!
The witch made a move towards Dorothy.
How did you know that water is the only thing that can destroy me?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
As she screamed, the witch melted away. Only her clothes remained on the floor. Dorothy first saved the lion from the cage he was kept. Then they together found Scarecrow and the Tin Man. They went back to the Emerald City, told them that they got rid of the evil Wicked Witch of the West, and wanted to see the Wizard of Oz. The mighty Wizard of Oz welcomed them all together this time. When they entered the throne room, they heard the deafening loud sound.
I am the mighty Wizard of Oz. Why are you looking for me?
Toto got so scared that he ran over the big separating screen in the corner. Behind the screen appeared a tiny, bold, old man. He was holding something resembling a horn in his hands.
And who might you be?
I'm the mighty Wizard of Oz.
Are you the Wizard of Oz? But how can that be?
The old man decided to explain his story. In reality, he was working in a circus. He used to make shows with the hot air balloon. One day, when a strong wind blew him to this castle, the people of the Emerald City thought that he was the wizard coming from the skies. And they asked him to rule the city, and so he agreed.
And what about all your promises?
The wizard told the Tin Man that he could give him a heart this instant. He reached behind and took out a stuffed heart toy from the chest. The Tin Man felt much better. Then he returned to the Scarecrow. He opened the stitches on his head and put in a handful of wheat and sewed it back up again. It was the scary lion's turn. He poured some potion from a gold bottle in a bowl and asked the lion to drink this potion of courage. The lion drank the potion. Suddenly, he left this weak, scared look and roared like the big, mighty lion he was. The Wizard of Oz smiled at them. He hadn't actually given them anything. All the things they had asked him, they had already had inside of them, but they did not know how to use it.
Now it's your turn, Dorothy. You actually had everything you wished for right there with you all this time. If you tap your silver shoes to each other for 3 times, you will go wherever you wish for.
So I could actually go home whenever I wanted?
Yeah, but then I would be stuck on that field forever.
And I was going to rust all by myself.
And I would never become a courageous lion.
Dorothy tightly hugged her friends. She said her farewells to each of them. Then she held Toto, and tapping her shoes 3 times, she said she wanted to go home next to her uncle and her aunt. After a short while, she found herself sitting in the garden. Excited, she looked around. She saw her uncle and her aunt running towards her. She laughed with joy.
Toto, look! We are home!